Hi everyone!
Living in 21st century makes me wonder what the actual student need to extend their existence. Then it goes with the question in our head. The first is, what is the actually teaching in 21st century?
Okay, teaching in 21st century is a teaching that relates with collaborative learning and also with the very creative teaching media.
Yeah, I get that point. By the way, do you know Balap Karung game?
Yes, of course. Balap Karung is one of Indonesian traditional games that usually played by the people in order to celebrate Indonesian Independence Day.
So, related to Balap Karung
Yes.
and teaching in 21st century, do you think that Balap Karung can cope with the problem that comes out in teaching in 21st century?
Yes, of course. First, we can modify the games into very creative teaching media so that it can cope with the problems in 21st century teaching.
Yeah, I see that.
So here we would like to have a discussion in our research entitled Does the modification game Balap Karung Kreasi can improve the students' speaking ability in 21st century? But before that, we would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Renata Kenangarinda.
And I am Fibri Muji precisely. We are from Master Program English Department, 11 Maret University. Related to improve student speaking skill, there are 4 main points as a background in our research that is appropriate to teaching in 21st century. The first is collaborative learning. We believe that collaborative learning is an appropriate approach to improve student speaking skill. Why? Because collaborative learning is a learning that involves students to working in a group to solve the problem, to create a product, or even to complete the communication. So by doing this kind of activity, this kind of approach, it will ease the student to practice their speaking naturally. Thus, by doing so, it can be stated that the students are building their communication, in which building communication is the importance of speaking in 21st century. In addition, there are some problems. 2 main problems that we found in teaching 5th graders of Kaliabu State Elementary School in Madiun. The first problem is about student characteristic knowledge and ability. In this case, they tend to use Bahasa or Javanese in teaching and learning process. Further, there are also lack of confidence, lack of practice, so that it results them as an indifferent students in attending classroom activity. The second is the setting. The setting is the school. The Kaliabu State Elementary School is placed on a village, which means that we cannot find many multimedia, so it is kind of hard to find multimedia on that school. That is why, regarding to those problems, we proposed a solution by implementing a modification game called Balap Karung Kreasi. In order to be focused on the problem, we provide 3 research questions. The first is, how does the implementation of the game in teaching speaking in 21st century? And then the second is, how can the modification game Balap Karung Kreasi can improve student speaking ability for the 5th graders? And then the last research questions, what are the weaknesses and the strength on the implementation of the game? In our research methodology, there are some points. Those are, the first is design. The design of our research is classroom action research. And then the place where our research was taken was on SDN Kaliabu 3, Kabupaten Madiun. And then the subject of our research was 30 students of 5th graders. And then in doing this research, we conducted 3 instruments. Those are pre-test, post-test, observation, field notes, and also voice recording. And then since we conducted the car, so we put the chemist and McTart's model. According to them, there are four steps in doing. There are 4 steps in doing car. The first is planning, second is acting, third is observing, and the last is reflecting. Planning is a stage where we plan everything like materials, syllabus, and etc. And for the syllabus, we plan the syllabus to teach speaking, especially expression, politeness. And then for the acting is the stage where the students demonstrated the game. In doing so, we already explained to them about the objective of the lesson and also the rules. And then for the observing is the stage where the students demonstrated the game, and we as a researcher, we also observe the implementation of the game by using the 3 instruments that I have mentioned before. And for the reflecting is the stage where we gather all the data, analyzed it, and also we did not forget to mention the weaknesses and the strength of implementing this scheme. Well, the next is the analysis, since we use qualitative and quantitative. So in order to answer the second research question, we used quantitative. In doing so, we have a sample t-test and SPSS version 16, and then to answer the first and the third research question, we used qualitative. In doing so, we have a theory coming from Haynes and about 6 criteria of a good games.
Related to the 3 research questions mentioned before, there are 3 findings we found in this discussion. So, the first one is related to the implementation of Balap Karung Kreasi in teaching speaking in the 21st century, which relates with collaborative learning. So, here is the implementation on how the game was conducted. Okay. The 30 students were divided into 10 teams, so each team was consisted of 3 students. The first student stayed close to the start line, the second student stayed in the middle, and then the third student stayed close to the finish line. The first student created the politeness expression related to the picture contained in the karung, and then he used the karung, jump into the second player, and then whisper the politeness expression related to the picture. For example, "May I borrow your book?" And then the second player received the message and also the karung. And she used the karung and then jumped to the third person and then whispered the same politeness expression, "May I borrow your book?" Okay. The third person received the message, used the karung, and then jumped to the finish line. In order to decide which team to be the winner, the teacher must observe the person that reached the finish line at the first time and also make the correct politeness expression which was matched with the picture contained in the karung. And then the second finding is about the learners' score improvement from the pre-test and also the post-test. Students were asked to create the dialogue and also to practice it in front of the teacher, and then the teacher assessed them by using 4 criteria of good speaking, which were fluency, pronunciation, grammar, and also vocabulary or word choice. After that, the teacher compared the score of pre-test and post-test by using SPSS 16, the sample per t-test, and finally the teacher found the result that the value of TO is smaller than the value of TT, and also the value of the significance, which was 0.01, is smaller than 0.05. So it can be concluded that null hypothesis was rejected. So there is a improvement of the students' score before and after the game was implemented. And then the third finding is about the strengths and also the weaknesses of the game. It is suitable with the curriculum since the game contains politeness expression, and the politeness expression is stated on the school-based curriculum in 2006 in speaking. And then it is accurate for the learner's characteristics since the learner love to play, love to interact with the people. So the media we create, which was a game, is matched with their characteristic. And then it contains a clear language. The rules and also the instructions used by the teacher was in the form of very simple sentence and very simple phrase, so that it is easy to be understood by the student. And it maintains the learner's motivation. The game was played in the competition, so there would be winning team and also the losing team. In order to be the winner, the learners must motivate themselves and also motivate their friends. So it is maintain their motivation. And then it offers the learners participation since the learners took their part as a player rather than observer or watcher. Also, the last one, it is effective to teach material. It creates a fun atmosphere to the student so that the student would easily to grasp and also easily to understand the material delivered by the teacher. Instead of having strengths, it also have weaknesses. By implementing this game, the teacher needs time and also place management since it requires a lot of time and also a lot of space in order to implement it well. So the conclusion, finally, we can conclude that Balap Karung Kreasi is the answer of the students' problem in speaking ability for the 5th graders, especially those in SDN Kalia Putika, in teaching English in 21st century. Here the references we use. So if you have a further comment related to us and also related to the Balap Karung Kreasi, feel free to give comments. And finally, we would like to say thank you and see you.